Hey, you two guys, just stand looking into the river. You're watching the river, that's all.
Sure. This is not the house at all. Aaron, not at all.
Yes, it is, Eddie. So this is it. You know, they do, and they don't.
Right. A lot of the old tombstones there. Concession in perpetuity is what the number. They can never disturb. They actually reuse. 10 years.
Great dog. He's no puppy.
Have some more lemon.
Well, let me finish this for a second.
Lemon tart.
This is all the different occupations in the village.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
And see, all their dishes match.
So they're what? Better
They're
off?
better off. Well, because the thatcher is very much in demand.
Yeah, that would be like a tradesman.
Yeah.
And this has a hook, but it's a very big hook,
Yeah,
right?
very
The
big.
whole thing, you would have all those pots swinging
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I think our people would have been thatchers. This
Oh,
photo,
look, see, here's the attic.
that's what they were talking about,
That's
where they would
interesting, yes,
stick the kids.
yes,
Now, how would they get up there, though?
Throw them up.
Throw them up there. outside the Malton, waiting for Sheila Wilton to make her exit. She should be coming soon. I wonder what she's wearing today. Ah, there she is. Ah, it's the same old red raincoat. She certainly got a lot of mileage out of that. Her coach is ready. Old. Yeah, you can do whatever you want now. I just wanted to get it set for Cynthia. Ed is just, Ed insisted on paying for everyone.
It's my treat. I think last time we were here, Danny treated. So,
I'm doing a running kind. I said we were trying to duplicate that famous photo.
All right,
Yeah. All right. See what he said to me? He said to me, the guy just said to me, how's the form? Yeah. Now we're in the courtyard, the main courtyard.
Janet.
And Janet is talking, not paying attention to the important issues of the day. But no doubt it's something very important she's talking about. Eddie would now like to say something. Go ahead. And I'm going to come back in.
In 2007 was the 400th anniversary of the flight of the Earls, which is when the O'Donnells, Red View's successor Rory, and the other Earls who had been defeated by the English left for exile in Europe rather than submit to the English. So in 2007 was the 400th anniversary. Phil Coulter he composed a song called If These Stones Could Speak. And it was basically reimagining how the ghost of Red View might remember and appreciate the fact that O'Donnell Castle is now in the hands of the Irish and no longer in the hands of the English. And they had a great concert here, and the song that he composed was played, and it was a wonderful recognition, commemoration of the castle, and that it's now in Irish hands.
And Ed, could you favor us with a few of the lyrics?
Yes. Let me see
if these stones could talk. It must be that they're going to tell a story.
Stones could speak, what a tale they tell of the heroes and chiefs of Tyrconnell, of the battles fought and the wonders wrought, and the glories of Red View O'Donnell. I think that's it.
That's good. Very good on you.
Good.
Actually, the people are asking him to continue, but he's not going to.
I'm not sure I know all the other ones.
And Peggy was next to me, I believe, right? Right. That's right. And this was just the suggestion of these things. I guess they cleaned them up a bit, maybe even.
It was much darker.
Yes, but you could tell that there was elaborate, even.
Well, they were
the
even
picture.
then. It was elaborate.
Yeah.
It was darker and dirtier.
So this would be the main room, Red U.
Yeah, this is the back of
And this was all restored in 1990. Lovely room, really.
Yeah, let me get all of you in front of the far side, and then we'll recreate.
Okay, now we're going to recreate, so I'll be shutting off for a moment.
Okay. That is nice, the water like that.
Yeah. That may be why some change.
Sheila and Ed returning to Donegal Church on Sunday.
For you alone are the Holy God.
That's the two Eddies, our Eddie and Eddie Peter Gallagher, walking up to the church. I think this over here, it's the Gaelic spelling of O'Donnell, O'Donnell.
Who was like 30. And he raised a whole bunch of them. So he always thought of Peter Green as kind of his father, because he was after his own father died. But Dan Duffy was like an uncle to us. He lived with us.
He lived with us.
This is another brother.
But look at it, of the ages.
Said he was a pallbearer at Uncle Barney's funeral. James was Aunt Betty's husband, who was lost in the Mars.
That's right.
Tito.
Oh, he's buried there too.
No, he's not buried.
Oh, yeah, but they're just marking his death. It's the same with Aunt Betty, that she's not buried there, right?
Well, but that's what we know. We actually found a record of. There's a memorial in England somewhere. So lost in the war. Record. So his husband of Elizabeth.
When the dark wood fell before me, and all the paths were overgrown, when the breeze of pride say there is no other way, but till the souls
Your father, and your mother.
did not believe because I could not see.
She's in Scotland.
You came to me in the night,
That was the last time your dad was here.
when the dawn seemed forever lost. You showed me your love in the light of the stars. Cast your eyes on the ocean, cast your soul to the sea.
You got a picture of that?
Yeah, I did. The little one doesn't mind it so much. She's a cutie.
coming up. Okay. I'm just. How you doing? How you doing? Hello.
Hello there.
I'm shy or what? Sure, it's back with them. Oh yeah. What's your name? Donald Sweeney. How you doing? Nice to meet you. My wife. Moira. Moira. Did you get it right yet? That's what he's doing. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, well. I'm fine.
You make it.
How you doing? I'm tired. Hello.
How are you? Yes, right. Okay. Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
We're having a little fun tomorrow.
I don't know if Jimmy's coming.
I told him no.
What?
I told him we don't have him.
Okay, because he's saying he didn't think you could have it.
Just taking a wee shot for those. I don't think
Penny yesterday.
Reports of my demise are greatly attached.
They won't let me collect the insurance.
Our parents, as you know, were here. We grew up in America, which we probably had a different experience than all of our cousins growing up. And when we were growing up in America, people would see our name, O'Donnell, and say, "Oh, you're Irish." I said, "Yeah." "Oh, I'm Irish too." I said, "Well, your name is Wojciechowski or Pulaski." And he said, "Well, my mother's Irish." So he was only half Irish, but he wanted to claim credit for being Irish. But other people you talk to, and they say, I'm Irish too. And it turned out one of their grandparents was Irish, so they were a quarter Irish. And it went so far as people who were maybe 1/16 would say, I'm Irish. Everyone wanted to be Irish. So it was a source of great pride to us that we were 100% Irish.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that. We're 100% Donegal Irish. And it goes beyond that. We're 100% Ross's Irish. So this is something to be proud of, and we certainly are. So basically, when we started thinking about, mom and dad and where we came from, we got very interested in our roots. And if you're like me, when you were young, 25, you were focused on what's ahead, the future. You didn't care much for what was behind you. That was not much interest. But when you reach my age, and probably a lot of our ages, you're not that concerned with what's ahead of you. You may not be that thrilled with what's ahead of you. But then you start saying, gee, I wonder what all that was behind me that I don't know that much about. So you start looking backwards. And this is what we basically did. And we started wishing we knew more about our family from Annegret to Tesla. We started a family tree. My brother and I and others, Jimmy, maybe in '93. And we probably had, at that time, initially, 100 people on it. and we've worked at it and added to it. And now I think we have over 800 people maybe on it. We've written a proper book. It's called we called it Our Donegal Roots. My brother Jim and I are the principal authors, but we have contributions from Dan, of course, and Sheila, and others in this room, including Mary Dugan. Where's Mary? Okay. Who contributed a lot of information on my mother's side and some stories of her own. And others in the room, Kathleen Hanlon, Kathleen O'Donnell, some of the people on my mother's side. And Jimmy Duffy was a great help to us because he's your local historian. What better source to go to than he? So we have this book, and we said when we go to Ireland, we'd like to make a gift to each of our cousins of a copy of the book. I don't want to turn this into a reading library, but we're going to now distribute copies to all of our cousins. So you can kind of see what we've created and hope you enjoy it. So at this point, we're going
the place I was born in, no matter where I roam, it's in my soul. 'Cause my feet may wander 1,000 places, my heart will lead me back home to my Donegal. And then tomorrow, take a walk down to St. Mary's, that sheltered spot. I will need my photograph for the ones that have gone, and hope that they're proud of the wandering son. 'Cause this is my homeland, the place I was born in, no matter where I roam. Well, it's in my soul. 'Cause my feet may wander 1,000 places, my heart will lead me back home to my Donegal. This is my homeland, the place I was born in. No matter where I roam, it's in my soul. 'Cause my feet may wander 1,000 places, but my heart will lead me back home to my Donegal. Yes,
to love. And when I return, I think we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of you, I left it on a Yankee sailing ship.
We'll forget the guitar, we'll just sing. How's that?
I left in lovely old town.
my heart will lead me back home to my Donegal. Yes, my heart will lead me back home to my Donegal. Hands in the air.
Yeah, you could easily twist your... We don't want anybody going back to Letterkenny Hospital.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow,
Oh, look at the impressive headstone. This is Jesse's headstone.
And the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above chimney top.
Yeah.
That's where
I'm taking video now.
Okay.
Okay, here we are at the gravestone of Mom's grandmother, Jessie, who was Jimmy Jesse's mother. And apparently in the grave are her husband, Dan Boyle, and then we're not sure who the others are. So this is the churchyard. Down below is Jimmy Jesse and the Boyles of Ballymanus. And this is a beautiful setting right by the water.
someday
And
I'll
the church.
wish upon a star
The Grand Church of Kincastle in the background.
and wake up where
It's a wonderful day that we're all here together, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
All right, say a wee prayer now to yourselves. So here we are in the Kincastle Church.
Like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where
This is where our
you
grandparents would have been married.
find me. Somewhere over the rainbow. birds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Point that out again, Jimmy.
The first post office in Donegal.
Sticking up?
Yeah.
And that served the whole county?
That served the whole county at that time, yeah.
So what port was?
See, there was no communication, there were no roads, no nothing. So that's why the British set their headquarters up here. Because they come in by sea.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying so far, Sheila?
Oh my goodness, I have a great time.
Sorry about
A
that.
great
This is one of
time.
the highlights of the.
Was it found here or did they bring it here?
They brought it here.
Okay.
It's found somewhere up the back there. So.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's
there would be small people sitting in that.
It could be, I mean, thousands of years.
I think it could be, I would say it is, you know. Yeah.
They need
Have chairs.
The Stone Age.
And they're only lifting their bums up a few inches, really. But you know, those few inches make all the difference.
But what did they have to be sitting around for? They were trying to survive.
This is a mill wheel here
What is that?
for grinding.
Oh, millstone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When would that be in use? The same era?
Probably the last century, you know.
Mom was nervous as our train pulled into the station at Strabane. She had been away for 30 years. Uncle Dan and Aunt Maggie were waiting on the platform to meet us and take us to Ballymanus. Tears were shed. I remember hearing afterwards that it was out of character for Maggie to venture from the homestead, but she had been insistent that she wanted to be there. When we got to the house, the rest of the family was there. And of course, Jimmy Jesse, who was seated in his chair. I remember he shook my hand and said, "You are very welcome." And I felt special. I remember too that Mom embraced him and put her head down on his shoulder and stayed in that position for an extended period, and both of them cried. We watched them silently. Then we had a big, joyous party with laughter and music. Everyone was so happy. When it was pointed out to Mom that there was a wedding picture of her and Dad hanging prominently in the kitchen, Uncle Dan joked that they had just put it up, that it had been lying dusty under Jimmy Jesse's bed. They had to get the tongs, he said, to pull it out from under the bed and hang it up before Mom got there. There was a lot of new life in Ballymanus that summer. The cat had kittens, and a new calf was born, which thereafter was known as Danny's calf. I loved exploring the shore and coastline and the White Strand. Uncle Dan took me out fishing in the Curragh, and we sailed to Innisfree, a small island off the coast where we built a tower of rocks, which, if you knew where to look, you could see back on the mainland. Every Tuesday and Thursday in Ballymanus at lunchtime, this would be heard on the kitchen radio.
makers of Cadbury's Dairy Milk Chocolate, present the Kennedys of Castle Ross. It's Thursday afternoon in the town of Castle Ross, and in her shop in Kevin Street, Mrs. Kennedy is talking to a customer who has just run.
Aunt Maggie was a faithful listener to the Kennedys of Castle Ross. I even started listening. I was all in that summer. Whatever they were doing, I was doing. Aunt Maggie Manus was an excellent baker. She made delicious rhubarb pies with perfect crusts sprinkled with sugar. There was a huge stack of turf next to Dad's house. You could climb on it and gather pieces for the fire. I met so many new aunts and uncles and cousins that summer. There were lots of parties, always with song and singing. And there were familiar faces, too. I remember Auntie Annie had us over to her house for a wonderful dinner. The meal was great, but she had nothing good to say about the Anagram butcher. Good thing for him there was no Yelp then. Mom enjoyed herself immensely that summer. My aunts knitted me a beautiful Irish sweater to take back to the States with me. But when we tried it on, a day or two before our departure, they hadn't quite anticipated the extent of my belly. Too many rhubarb pies, I guess. It had to be ripped out and redone. It seemed like all of Ballymanus was pressed into service to get it reknitted in time for our departure. And miraculously, they did. We were all sad when it was time to leave and return to the U.S. It had been a magical summer, which I will never forget. In old age, Jimmy Jesse was hard of hearing and often would not get a whit of what was being said to him. But he had perfected an all-purpose response. He would say, "Just so." Maybe not the most exciting of conversation, but when you think about it, it would fit, wouldn't it? Almost anything that someone might say to you. Jimmy Jesse is the only one of our grandparents that any of us met. Sheila, too, met him on her trip to Ireland in 1961. Jimmy Jesse was blessed with good health and length of years. In May 1967, he died in his bed at home in Ballymanus at the age of 96. He is buried in Kincastle Cemetery next to his beloved Cassie. Just so, Jimmy Jesse. Just so.
Oh, even better, yeah. A bottomless lake. That was to keep the... Uh-oh. Mary's like an explorer with knowing the fresh cow dung and everything. It's back further. Yeah, that's about the size that I remember it. Oh, did they? We'll see it when we go around the other way. nice. This is it. This is the place. Yes. And we would launch the car either from that side or this side. Usually this side, I think. Yeah, so it was closest to it. It was very cold though, the water. Even during the summer, right?
In fact, it seems colder in summer because you're warm in here. Your skin is warm in the sun, and then
Why, when did we think it was? Right. Oh, is that right?
It was May 10th, 1943. I could have that
43.
wrong. I could have that wrong too.
In the middle of the war.
Oh, look at there's a cross out there. Somebody maybe lost their life. Huh?
Hey, here we'll have to get a picture of all of this.
Yeah.
Yes. You see that cross out there, Mary?
from all the islands.
Yeah.
Can you see vaguely the two little
Boats or something out there?
That's the two rocks that are jutting out. That's the stags, and that's where Dan said
So would say
that
they'd be
Dan
cleaning.
and Maggie would make work for themselves on the stags.
That they would be cleaning the stacks.
And they would.
So we'll try them. And the waves smashing up.
Oh no, it was more adventurous. It was more adventurous.
Isn't this great, the little inlets here of stone?
I mean, I wish I had my camera. I would love this.
It'll be another 20 years before you get doing that trek again.
Exactly. I'll be in a wheelchair. Go on, go on. Yes. Hello, you're being called. I'm okay, don't worry about me. Approaching Sharky's Bar in the center of Anagra on a Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. New home here. Next to Sharky's Bar is the police station, the Garda station. 3 stories. When Dad was here growing up as a boy, he said this was the only 3-story house in the town. And the other prominent house was the parish house, but that may have only been 2 stories. Dad said that this was the only 3-story building, where the Garda operated. Barracks, I guess they would call it. Sharky's Bar has been here forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, right. Never renamed.
And there's some place called McBride's. And in the very far distance, I don't know if you can see it, on the other side of the bridge is a place called Duffy's. And it has a bicycle hanging up on the side of it. And that was the pub that Uncle Peter opened when he returned from America. Let me give you a little bit of the church again. This is St. Mary's Star of the Sea, where Dad and all his siblings would have been baptized. That's Sheila crossing Anagra Bridge. Now the building straight ahead is Anagra Hall, and that's where the famous production of The Auction at Kilbuck took place many years ago, where Dad saw, not Mom, but her sister Mary was an actress. Very fine actress. She won the Anagrian, or whatever the award would have been. This is a sign but it's all in Gaelic, so I don't think I can tell you anything about it, except it says 1973 to 1981. And this sign, we're going to be turning up here. That's how you get to my grandfather's house, and Minon's house, and that's Runna Fast, which is behind, it's like the next town over from Anagra. Sheila is ahead there. She wants to take a picture of Duffy's Bar. Looks quite nice, actually. Sharky's and Duffy's and Denny Minnie's, those are the 3 big competitors in terms of pubs. Very important. And something certainly I didn't remember seeing before. There's a Chinese takeaway restaurant called Happiness. This is the Anagra Hall. I don't know if you can see in at all. Probably just the office.
Do you want in?
What?
Do you want in?
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'm lucky you were coming by.
I was just setting up for the...
What did they use the hall for?
I was just setting up here for the teas after Mass tomorrow. We'll have tea after Mass.
Oh, we'll be going to Mass there, so you come over here for the tea. And this was...
Just a community hall.
My mother and father grew up here.
Oh, right, yeah.
And my aunt...
You're not Duffy, are you?
No, O'Donnell. O'Donnell. And Boyle on the other side.
Wow.
But my aunt... my father didn't know my mother, so they went out there, but he didn't remember seeing her younger sister doing the play here called The Auction at Kilbuck.
Oh, right.
And I'm an actor, so I was very interested in that. So do they still put on plays here?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, and have a variety nights with local artists and things like that.
Oh, okay.
It's used as, they used for like courses, like art classes and
Yeah, it's the
embroidery
town
and things like
center,
that.
and then this would be the stage. Thanks very much.
That's the...
Oh, the way it looks to look?
That's out there. That's the old school.
Oh, the National School.
The National School, which was out there.
It was right there.
And that was a Lord Dudley, I think it was, that came. Yeah, Lord Dudley.
Oh. So when my father was here, that's the school he would have gone to.
That's
The
school,
other one is obviously much newer. The one further up the road.
1899.
Yeah. Till whatever, yeah.
Where to next, right?
We're going up this, yes, Ket's Brae. This is Sheila walking up Ket's Brae to the homestead. Whoops. Yeah, no, I knew that that's the real steep hill. That's the one maybe Sweeney complained about, but that's the house. Maybe that's Kettsburg. So you want car service? So we'll come and get you? Up there on the hill, that's Dad's house. That's Boywood, I should say. So we're going to be going on this hill. There's one large hill and then one really large hill. So I was asking Sheila if she needs car service. Maybe I need it myself. No. So there's two hills here. A big hill and then a really big hill. This is the one that Vicky Sweeney complained about. Okay, so now we're going up the big hill. With this cat's gray that comes right to the front door. That's the way to home. Again, new houses here. There's a hedge. She's fearless. The elevation starting. Sheila does it without any trouble at all. She says it's all in the thighs. Could be, yeah. There's a older home that would have been occupied when Dad was growing up. Today it looks not occupied, or maybe a shed. So from here you get a nice view of the town and the Strand.
Okay, Johnny.
See you again.
Walked over. Just walked over. Yeah, Jimmy.
That is some very good.
Well, enough to do.
Is there always this room behind the fireplace?
No, that's new. That was added on.
So what I remember is the fireplace was against the far wall of the house.
This was
in the same place, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
but this is new. But this room.
The new
Oh,
one.
yeah, since maybe your time, yeah.
You got a nice fire going for us.
Yeah.
Don't have us coming into a cold cow house.
Every door in the one house open.
This is great to be back in here. Now you live here, right?
I do, yeah.
That's good too. And every house when I was here in 1960 had a clock of this style, with the pendulum going back.
The pendulum stopped on
Right. Well, many of them were stopped then too. Hello. Come here. Look over here. These are Michael's two donkeys in front of Dad's homestead. And I am now going to enter the house.
There
Great chair. Great chair. This is your chair, yeah, I said we were asking. Eddie said he wanted to get it done. Sure. She took me and all of it because I never take a good picture.
Anthony has a house there that his uncle left him. And
And the brother that was living there, the brother.
Of all the money that I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that I've done, alas, it was to none but me, and all I've done for want of will to recall, so fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they are sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they would wish me one